The YouTube usually does. You don't see it in the. All right, welcome to Tuesday night class. This is Officer Baraki Allah, Officer of 50, I.S.U.P.K. Atlanta. Tonight's class is going to be there's only true honor in following the law, statutes, and commandments. So basically, we're going to be getting into honor. Anybody want to? Pops, can you give me some hints of what you think honor is? Just off the top of your head, what you think honor could possibly mean? That's what we're getting into tonight.
Honor is showing the same love to the brother as do you.
Right, yeah, that's right, definitely around along the same lines. The honor, it's come from the Hebrew word kavod. It means to respect and esteem. And, outside in the world, honor is something that is demanded on all aspects of life. Outside the Bible, inside the Bible, but the most honorable, the most upright way you can choose to live your life, choose to govern your life is through the law, statute, commandments to be the most honorable man or woman. Because we all know what everybody pretty much would never want somebody that's a thief around them. That's in the world and, in the school also, in the truth also. If you get a reputation for being a thief, then nobody, if you get that reputation, nobody wants you around unless there are other thieves and y'all thieving together. But once you get that on your face, once you get that on your name, that's dishonorable and nobody wants you around. Among other things, if somebody knows you, if your reputation precedes you as a liar, somebody who's always lying, a trickster. Even in the world, people don't want you around them. Amongst men, we don't want him. He always lying and flexion or flogging, capping, whatever they calling it right now. As even in the world, they don't want you around them at all. Even a female, they have their reputations. If a female have a scandalous reputation, a whore's reputation, a lot of times a female who's not carrying herself in that manner or look down upon that type of stuff, they don't want those people around them. That works like that in the world, and it works like that in the truth also in the Most High. He's no different. We his children, the children of Israel, the Hispanic, Native, and blacks, so-called blacks, make up the 12 tribes of Israel. And, he expects us to hold his honor. Once he gave us a contract. They have contracts in the world, contracts all over. Once you break that contract, you dishonor that contract, and there's penalties for that. And 12 tribes of Israel, the Most High gave us the honor code, which is the law, statutes, and commandments on how to govern ourselves, how to deal with all type of situations through life. And it was only given to us, was to make us a special, a separate, a holy people. But there's also consequences on that also. Pick me up at Deuteronomy 28:1. Man, we just started off from the beginning. The law, it's a wonderful thing to be an Israelite, to be part of the 12 tribes of Israel, black, Hispanic, and Native American, to be the Lord's special people. We come from the best stock on the earth, and we also, because of that, is a great responsibility. Just even from the curses of coming in, when you coming in learning about who you are as an Israelite, that's how we even know. That's the first thing how we even identify, like, okay, this can be nobody but us, just off the curses that was done. Because we all know that the Lord gave us a contract. He made a blood contract with Israel. And he expected us to uphold it. He said his commandments, his law, statute, commandments, they're not grievous at all. So he didn't give us nothing. He didn't give us a code that was too far-fetched. Just like you give your children. We have children. We have maybe people that you have authority over. The same way. Once you give them an order, you give your children an order, you expect them to behave and uphold themselves in another way. If they come home and they got all F's on their report card, or they got disciplinary reports coming home all the time from the teacher, that's going to be unacceptable. They're dishonoring your name, they're dishonoring the code that you put forth, and there's going to be consequences. It's simple as that. And once we start understanding it's that simple, that we'll know this thing is not anything spooky. It's just simply that we have to abide by this, or we'll keep on suffering. You got that for me, Deuteronomy 28:1?
Oh God, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments.
To do what?
To do all his commandments.
To do, say if that was it's something to that. It's just not given to us what we can do. I mean, it basically is given to us because we're the children of Israel. It's only for us, but the stipulation is if we follow the commandments. Keep on reading.
Which I commanded thee this day, and the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations.
That's go ahead. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be set on high above all nations of the earth. We're not supposed to be the first hired, the first fired, last hired. We're not supposed to be pushed out into the ghettos and the low income areas and always slaughtered on the earth and known as a byword, as a second class, third class citizen on this earth. So, for us to even be in that state, we know something happened when the Lord made that contract with Israel, that commandments that he commanded us this day, that seems like we dishonored that code. Keep on reading.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
That's right. If thou shalt hearken, that's when if you hear the Lord thy God. I mean, if you hear the statutes and commandments that he ordered us to do, that's when he'll put us all nations. That's when those blessings will overtake us, not the curses. Drop down to 15 for me. Deuteronomy 28:15.
Come on. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee, and overtake thee.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
All right. So what we basically have here is just the alternate of what we read in Deuteronomy 28:1. The blessings will overtake these. If we keep the contract, we honor that law that the Lord gave us, the blessings will overtake us. If we don't, then the curses will overtake us. Now we're looking to see, we see the state that we are all around the world, especially in North America. We see the positions that we in. Guess what happened? We definitely dishonor that code. Right, because, just like you don't want anybody who steals, who lies all the time, who kills, who's just fugazi, a corny person, whatnot, or however you want to word it. Just like we don't want those type of people around us in the world. The Most High the same way. He don't want anybody that's dishonorable around them. They have dishonor on your name. We don't want you to. We're gonna have to think twice about you hanging with us, without being seen with you. And that's why the Most High turned his face. He turned his face away from the children of Israel. How else? I mean, we his actual children, but we actually suffered so much. Over the hundreds of millions of us just died by coming in the translated slave trade coming over here. I mean, we the Most High children. You understand that? So that means he actually this is that serious. He turned his face away from us. Just the same way you have a child, a son, or whatnot, even a daughter, they keep on going to jail over and over again. They keep on being the criminal. They get out of jail free card is over with now. They go to jail. They just what the parents used to tell them: don't even call me no more. Don't even hit me up anymore. Anything like that, because your get out of jail free card is over with. You get in trouble too much, you just gonna have to get out of this on your own, or you just have to You're going to have to bail your own self out or just serve your time in there. I can't come bail you out anymore. The Most High offers the same way. And he set these laws in order. And that's why we curses in the city. I mean, we was just looking at Commander General Yahanna show last night where they brought out the brother in Philadelphia. The latest victim of the brother in Philadelphia was killed by the policeman. I haven't even got, you know his name yet in the past. Look his name up. We'll get it later. But you know, every week is a new brother dying on the streets. You think the Lord want to see that? You think He wants that His children keep on getting shot down in the streets? There was a brother. He was mentally ill and he had a knife, charging at the police. And they definitely could have. They definitely could have used force and they could have used a taser to get him. He just had a knife and they shot him about 10 times. I mean, it sounded like 10 times. Shot him down in the street. They could have at least shot him in the leg. What happened to leg hits? They're going straight for the kill. Somebody have a knife, but they didn't take any chance. They won't take any chances with the children of Israel. That's why we watching Commander General Yahanna Stroll. He was showing the white privilege on that. When the other heathens, the other racists, they get into it with the policemen, they can basically take the policeman gun, come at them with a knife, and they'll try all they can do without harming that person, that heathen, that white person. We've seen it the comparison. We've seen it over and over again. But when it comes to the children of Israel, if we even breathe wrong, we even reach for our license wrong, then we know we have a good chance of getting blown away. We definitely have a good chance of getting blown away. Put me up at Proverbs 124. All right, because the Lord sends his prophets here to warn us, and his prophets are going to uphold the law. We hearken to the voice of the Most High Power, Yahweh. We got ourselves straight. We made ourselves honorable men out here in this society. It's nothing like being around somebody honorable. That takes you a lot of places in business. Takes you a lot of places in this world. People don't gotta like you, but if they know they can trust you, they know you're honorable, they know your work is good, they know your word is good, your word is bond, then you can get used and utilized for a lot of things. But it's not, then it doesn't matter what you're portraying. People are gonna just go for on what you actually do than what you say, and what you do. It come down to how honorable you. Did you lose your honor? You got that Proverbs 124.
Come on, the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 24. Because I have called, and ye refused. Mm-hmm. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded.
Right? And no man regarded? Go ahead.
Verse 25. But ye have set a naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. Verse 26. I also will laugh at your calamity.
He'll do what?
I also will laugh at your calamity.
Right, because the Most High, He sent the prophets on the streets. He sent the days. He sent the laws, statutes, commandments. We know this. Everybody has a Bible in their home, on their dashboard. So it's no excuse. The Lord already showed you that the Christianity and Christian church don't have the way. But what they choose, they choose to laugh at the prophets. They choose to point at them. They choose, sometimes in most cases, they choose to even to kill the prophets. So the Lord, He'll laugh when things happen to us. He's laughing at a lot of us, our calamity. We're in the middle of calamity right now, and the Most High, He laugh at it because He gave us time and time over again to get it right. And we didn't, Israel as a nation, we didn't forbear. I'm not talking about individually, and that's why all of us have to suffer. That's why we're still known as a byword. Go to Hebrews 8 and 10. And the Most High, even He put that on our hearts. He put that on our hearts because, a lot of things are taboo with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We know that eating things with blood in it, that doesn't even seem right. But a heathen, they'll eat things with blood in it. Homosexuality, we know same sex, that's taboo to black people. so-called black people. But to the heathens, they'll make it a law. They've been pushing that. You got that for me? Because the Most High, he put all that stuff for. That's why it's so taboo for a lot of things. So black people is already on with the Israelites, the children of Zion, the children of Israel. So these laws and statute commandments, we learn them later, but for the most part, we already know the core of what's right and wrong. And that's why we have Leviticus. We had to always go back through the law to know certain things, what to touch, what not touch, what type of woman to look for. Because if you mess with the wrong type of spouse, that can mess up your honor also. You know, if you're a man of a stature out here, and you go get a wife that's a harlot in the city, I mean that's not. Nobody's really looking at you as a prominent man anymore. We're looking at you as a foolish man, because you got such a foolish woman. No way you could be an honorable man with that type of woman. I mean, we look at you. You're better off single with no woman, because when it comes to reputation. You got that for me? Hebrews 8 verse 10.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse
10. Verse 10.
Oh. The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
After those days, said the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind.
Right. You put their laws into their mind. Go ahead, keep on reading.
And write them in their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be.
Slacking. We all know when they say heart and mind in biblical sense, that means the same thing. When you say you're gonna put it on our mind, put it on our heart, it's gonna be. That's what we thinking. That's why it makes us so taboo about things. You know, even now, if somebody come out as homosexual in your family, it's still a big deal. Your mama and your daddy probably still feel like they may go along with it later if they're not in the truth. But it's still very taboo. It's not the same thing as a heathen that they came out. They wouldn't even think nothing about it. Keep on reading.
And I will be to them a God,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall be to me a people.
Right.
Verse 11. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest.
Right, from the least to the greatest. And that's the prophets teaching Israel how to uphold themselves as honorable men. Because once that established, once that law is laid down and established, then guess what? The whole world be looking at us. You know what I mean? We put on this earth, the earth is our turf. We're the light, we're the salt of the earth. So once that's established and the honor is really shown throughout the nation of Israel, then whatever honorable men do, that the rest is going to follow. We say no, we're not down with all the juicy crabs, any shrimp, crab, and lots to get that out of here. They'll be out of here overnight. They'll flop overnight. They'll have to move around from Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If an honorable man standing, but we have to stand on and keep on pushing that agenda. If honorable men and the whole world knew that homosexuality would not be tolerated at all, not be tolerated, not even a bit of the sense. I mean, because it's for some dudes it's easy for them to come against male on male homosexuality, but when they women come at them and want to get two girls and a man, then that changes it up a little bit. You know what I mean? That put that pressure on the D. If you gonna uphold your honor when you get that call, because you can talk about the male on male all day, but when it comes to that, I mean that's still homosexuality. A lot of brothers don't look at it like that. You still gotta uphold your honor. You get into that, you still into homosexuality activity. Are you gonna uphold your honor? Is that on the line? Your rib or whatever female you talking to? They put that in your face or put that on the line for you. Will you uphold your honor? When your boys and friends in the world call you about going out to the strip club, All right, man, there's no harm. We just going out to the strip club. It's nothing too much of that. You know, you can talk about it. Now, I ain't going to no strip club. I'm not really focused on the strip club. But that one little Friday or Sunday night or whatnot, they call you and give you, tell you about it. Hey, you want to roll with us? I mean, are you gonna uphold your honor or you gonna fall? Because the test gonna come. The Most High gonna see if you honorable. Just as we do with each other, do with our spouses, do with our children. We give them the laws or our own set of rules, and we're going to see if that's going to be honored. If not, we're going to see if they fail, we're going to know that's dishonorable. And if it does, then, the test come, you fail, there's consequences for that. And as we see, that's what Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are suffering from. You got that? Keep on reading.
Verse 12. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins, and their iniquities will I remember no more. Verse 13. And that he said, a new covenant.
A new what?
A new covenant.
Uh-huh.
He had made the first old, now that which decayeth and waxed old is ready to vanish away.
There go that word, that covenant, that contract again. It's a covenant with the house of Israel. He had to do it because we all went into idolatry. The whole Israel would have been wiped out the face of the earth if it wasn't for that. Because we all went into other idols, and as we do now. Now, as far as somebody going directly and worshiping a golden cow, how's in some stories in the Bible, it comes in different ways, different modern ways these days. People are more into they'll make their God into the Egyptology, something that looks great. They try to make black excellence out of Egypt. That's a whole nother God. That's definitely dishonoring the Most High. Somebody that come out of Christianity and doesn't, which is a good thing, not following Christianity, but people come out of Christianity and want to go right into Islam. Like it's just not like that's not the wood and the stone. One of the wood that's a stone. That's not honorable. You still dishonorable. You're going to the Islam. You're going to Muhammad. The Bible don't mention Muhammad not one time. The Quran mentions all our prophets and our laws. We don't mention anything about them. The only thing we say is Ishmael. Ishmael is a wild man, and the Most High sent them on the way. And he, out of Abraham's children. But we want to go back into Islam. We think that because we put those cloths on my head, and our women to cover it up. I mean, it's a form. It's a religious thing. It's a form of what we used to do in the past, but it's not the truth. That's why it feels like it could be when you're in Islam, it could be something to it. It feels holy, but it's definitely not what the Most High subscribe at all. All right, so when you get that call, you're real, but anybody into any type of religion, you just open to any ideology. You going into book to book, to doctrine to doctrine. You all on the internet learning. The Most High going to send a prophet one day and straighten you up. And most of the time, people don't want that medicine. They reject that medicine. But as we touched on many times, the Most High, He converts the hearts. He's the one that chooses. We don't choose Him. So so He chooses on the men. Okay, that's an honorable man. I see how that man is upholding himself. He hasn't compromised himself. He hasn't compromised himself with homosexuality. He hasn't compromised himself with sorcery or all these drugs. He hasn't compromised himself by selling out his brother at his workplace. He hasn't compromised himself for a woman. He know he's supposed to rule over his woman. The Most High think it might be time to go ahead and wake you up. That it can come definitely like that. And that's how all us come into the school. My first time coming in, my first time learning about the truth, things had to happen to me in my life. I was going through the Christian church, and my bishop, so-called what they call the bishop. You know, and none of that the true titles, pastors, deacon. That none of those are any men that I will ever call that these days. But you know, the church I was going to, the pastor came out as homosexual, and this is way before I even heard about the Israelites or anything. But that was the start. Because when I heard that, I knew that wasn't right. I left the church, and I thought my family was gonna leave with me, and nobody came with me, and they pointed me as like I was crazy. I'm like, do y'all see the Bible? We already know that's easy in the Bible. I don't need a breakdown. We already know Leviticus. I didn't even know the scripture back then, but I knew the Bible was totally against homosexuality under the death penalty. So I knew I can't mess with anything like that. I think God is actually real. So I started searching, and you know what? And that's why I ended up right here in this school off those events that happened right then, because I seen those men not being honorable. I seen the doctrine that was already going that didn't make sense to me anyway. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. He came out as homosexual. As homosexual, I definitely left and started on my plight, my look for knowledge. As soon as I left the Christian church, that's when knowledge came. And that's why I thank the Most High. I'm sitting here today in the truth. An officer in the school. And it was only because of those moments that allowed me to wake up and see. And I was angry at the dishonor they was doing in the Most High's name and trying to call it a good thing. What the scriptures say? A war to those who call good evil and evil good. That's a lot of what's going on these days. A lot of people that what the Most High consider evil, the world considers a good thing. What the Most High considers good, the world considers